listening to Extracting Wisdom. Here to help you prevent the decay of your future is your host, Brandon Evert.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Extracting Wisdom. My name is Brandon Evert, and we are here live, day 2 of the Voices of Dentistry 2020 Podcast Summit, and I am joined by Dave Roehr, who leads Proceed Finance with over 3 decades of experience in banking, finance, and strategic growth. Prior to Proceed Finance, Dave was president and chief financial officer for one of my favorite stores, Cabela's, guiding the company through a time of unprecedented sales growth and retail expansion and rocketing them past the $1 billion valuation mark. Included in Dave's leadership at Cabela's was his role as founder, chairman of the board, and CEO of World's Foremost Bank, the wholly owned regulated credit card bank utilized by Cabela's to issue and manage their co-branded Cabela's Visa credit cards and related consumer rewards program. After Cabela's, Dave acted as a business consultant, and it was through his consulting engagements that he recognized a need for a better patient financing tool. And so he created Proceed Finance. Dave, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Really looking forward to this and enjoy talking to your audience. And I think I want to really, you can tell me where you want me to focus, but
right.
If your audience is listening and they're entrepreneurs, they want to grow and have their own dental practice. I've seen a lot of different things, and I think I can try to give them some advice, so that's what I'm here to do.
Right, absolutely. I think this is going to be a great conversation, especially because we were just talking a minute ago about how a lot of dental students listen to this podcast.
Yep.
So why don't you start off by telling us what Proceed Finance is and what it does for both the patient and the dentist?
Absolutely. What I saw after, thanks for the introduction.
Yeah.
I did a major consulting project after I retired. I got bored to death. I couldn't do that.
Right.
So I'm that type that has to always be involved in something and stay active. But I did a project for Clear Choice Dental Implant Centers,
right.
which that's a pretty well-known brand, and obviously with their business model, a lot of their revenue and case acceptance relies on patient financing.
Mm-hmm.
Very high-end procedures, very expensive. Affordability for patients is the issue, right?
Right.
And you'll hear that with everybody you talk to.
Absolutely.
It's the number one barrier. So at the time I worked with them is you got to understand patient financing is kind of fickle. Getting liquidity and money and lenders to do that is an up and down deal. After the credit crisis or the Great Recession that we had in about 10 years ago,
mm-hmm.
most lenders got out.
Okay.
So there was no money available to finance, the procedures that the dental students are going to try to, learn to do and want to do.
Right.
So that's come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of trying to figure out a solution for Clear Choice, and that's what kind of got me the idea to do this. And so I created a company because there really wasn't a lot of good product out there that helped people, that made it work, and created affordability so people would say yes to an expensive treatment plan, right?
Okay, right.
So that's what we do. So my niche is I make a very simple, straightforward term loan to patients between 24 and 96 months. So I go up to 8 years.
Right.
I finance between $2,500 procedures and $60,000. All of this is unsecured financing. So I put people into play for large cases. That's my niche. And probably 80-90% of my business is dental implants.
Okay.
So that's
right.
what I focus on. So I love the results. I want to help people, and I want you as providers to help people.
Right.
The technology and just the results, the life-changing event type stuff is really exciting because you are making a difference to people, and I want to be part of that. So it comes down to how do we get more people into these large cases, change their lives, and now we have to make it affordable. So
right.
What I do is I stretch the terms, I lower the interest rates,
mm-hmm.
and create affordability.
Okay.
And as dental students, what you're going to learn is if you can come up with a payment plan that looks like a car payment, not a house payment,
right.
your chances of success in converting a case to reality where you're actually going to do the work, is dramatically increased. So,
right.
It's as simple as that concept. So remember that. But as you want to, get into a practice and buy a practice, or be independent, obviously a lot of dental students today go to work for one of the DSOs or, they got a lot of student debt and they can't afford to buy a practice.
Yeah.
But for the entrepreneurs that want to really go after it, I will tell you the actions in cosmetic dentistry. The need is phenomenal. I love to cite statistics. So a fun one for me is, how many people in this country today are in dentures?
Yeah.
Anybody have 35 million. Growing with the aging of the baby boomers, somewhere between 3 to 5 million people a year.
Wow.
So that's the people that lose their teeth, miss the problems that they start encountering as they age. A lot of that's genetics. People are going to lose their teeth, and they're going to have to deal with it. But what percent of that market do you think has been converted to implants?
Not high enough?
Not much.
Right.
It's less than 2%.
Yeah, that's low.
Yeah. So huge opportunity.
Exactly.
And with the technology. So how do you create a practice if you want to service that market?
Right.
Well, affordability is it's all elective uninsured, unfortunately.
Right.
So there's no coverage, there's no really assistance with insurance. So it's like now you're competing for the consumer dollar. Do I buy a new car? Do I get a full mouth restoration? So you have to have a financing product to make it affordable. And I will tell your audience, probably 15% of the country today could pay cash. Okay, so
yeah.
Everybody wants that market. So you're competing now, if that's what you're relying on, with a market that everybody wants. All right, so that's difficult to get into. But if you think about cross-section of America, I'd say 25% of the people in this country aren't eligible for the type of financing that we offer, or it's not affordable, or they have bad credit. They just, it's not going to work. And those people need to work on repairing their credit. But 60% of America in the middle need a product. They want the product. They want to do what you offer. Okay, they get the benefits. It's a life-changing event. They want to pay. They just can't pay you now. And so you have to figure out how to work with that group and then make it affordable and comfortable so you can convert a case. So that's the market that in high-end dentistry, that if your audience is going to want to do that type of procedures and work, is the difficulties you're going to face. So my advice would be find a great solution to help people make it affordable and work with them, and you're going to have successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with Proceed Finance, tell me kind of the steps that a patient needs to take, and what are the steps that the dentist needs to take to get approved?
Absolutely. We're pretty selective on the providers we take on, and we want to do it right. We are regulated, so I have to comply with all the consumer finance laws that exist, and there are many. So we want you to do it right. So to onboard you, if you want to do business with us, we'd love to, have the opportunity. So we'll go through an onboarding process. We have to diligentize the practice.
Right.
I mean, that's just federal regulations. So then once we get through that, and that's not as bad as it sounds, it's just a process, and then we have to train your people. So you go through the treatment coordinators, whoever's going to be dealing with money in your office that would want to use our product. But our product is cloud-based. It's very simple. We made it, I learned that, when I developed this product. It's got to be fast, simple, easy, and all of that for the provider. So you basically pull up an application and put in the basic information that we ask for. All the action occurs under the scenes with our underwriting, but we'll return a decision in seconds. And here's what, if the patient applied for this, they're approved, here's our payment options, and then that's what in the industry is called a soft hit. We don't affect their credit score.
Soft inquiry, right?
Yeah, soft inquiry.
Okay.
And then if they want to go forward, they like one of the payment options and want to close the deal, then they'll hit the select option that they want. Loan docs are produced, they're signed, returned to us, and I fund you the same day or next day. So it's non-recourse financing to the providers, so you don't have to worry about collections, servicing a loan, or any of that, which I would always recommend if with a practice, don't get into that business because you're not good at it and you don't know what to do. Turn that over to a professional. But so our product's non-recourse. We do all that. We fund. So it makes it as simple as we can, and we give a lot of large approvals. So like I said, we're a large case financer, and we specialize in your industry. 90% of my business is dental implants. I send out a lot of money every day all over the country, and would love to send some to your listeners. But developing a practice is, I would say, success. And if your listeners are in it to develop a successful practice and, quote, economically make more money and be successful, that's where the action is.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Yeah. Yep. So that's really cool that the dentist gets funded the next day, pretty much after everything is approved.
Yep. Once the loan docs are returned to us,
Right.
signed, and we approve the loan docs, we set it for disbursement, and it's either same day or next day, depending on a cutoff.
Right. So that's really nice, because then the patient or the dentist gets paid, but then now the patient is kind of almost turned over to you guys, which
Yep.
is kind of nice. Now, I was also reading too, what is like the monetary range that you guys will loan out?
Our minimum loan is
Minimum, maximum, yeah.
$2,500 all the way up to $60,000. You got to realize these are unsecured loans, so there's a little risk in that business. So I don't have any collateral. I increase the purchasing power of a consumer when I do this, but we'll go up to $60,000. So in the implant world, fully fund a full mouth restoration,
Right, yes,
double
exactly.
arches, all of those types of things, and put people in play for those types of procedures. A lot of people love the convenience of the financing, and I'll tell your listeners, okay, it isn't always about people, last resort, hey, go to patient financing. Always offer an attractive product, because if people can get approved for an unsecured loan fast, easy, simple, that means that they don't have to spend the money that they would have been able to pay anyway and divert that from some other resource. Like, I don't want to liquidate my stock portfolio. I don't want to, I got this money designated for this or that. It's amazing how many more people will convert because you've got an attractive financing product. So.
Yeah. Now, here's another question too. When it comes to the patient side of things, what is kind of the credit score you are looking for the patients that are applying?
Sure. As you know, we don't finance everybody. Denials are part of our business, and you got to expect that. There are just certain people in population of our country that just don't pay their, they're just not credit worthy. They have proven that with credit history. So having said that, the most popular way to keep score is FICO scores, or your credit score. I'll tell your listeners that they're not all equal. There are 27 different models of credit scores in this country, and so you may think you have a great score, but you really don't. I mean, there's, there are businesses that create high credit scores just to make consumers feel good. Anyway, so we use a FICO model, but FICO ranges from 350 to 850. Right. Okay, so how they came up with those numbers, don't ask, but usually people with a credit score of 700 and above, are considered very good.
Okay.
You get close to 800, you're excellent, and
right.
Prime time, all that. Everybody wants those loans, right? We'll go near prime, or prime would be considered 650.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And below that, you start getting into subprime, where those people will not get a lot of credit offers, if any, and the type of credit they get is expensive, and those types of things. So we'll go down to 640. Now, I've got another partner that I'm bringing on shortly that will be able to go to 580.
Wow.
So our spectrum will be 580 and above. Most of our large loans that are, I would say, the most attractive financing is you need a credit score above 680. And, we'll loan money at 3.9, which is very attractive. And we're risk rated, so as your credit is deemed to be higher risk, you pay more. And that's just the way lending works.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. That's a great information. I think for dental students, just knowing about this program and knowing about Proceed Finance and how it can help both the dentist secure their payments on these high-profile, or I guess high-end dentistry, as you were saying, secure those payments from their patients, but also being able to have this to offer offer this program to patients that might not get that treatment otherwise.
Exactly.
So I really think, like you said, you're really helping a lot more people now, and your market for implants is now greatly increased.
Absolutely.
In the amount of patients you can treat. It's a win-win. It really is on both sides.
Yep. And that's what I like. I mean, I've been around long enough. I don't like deals that in this model the patient wins because they get the treatment they need and want, and it's a life-changing event. I love to finance that sort of thing. You know, you as a provider get what you want, which is the case acceptance. You feel good about that. I'm the lender. I facilitate, and I feel good because I made it happen, and we all win. So those are the types of deals that, you know, attracted me to this space, and we try to do our best. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're all in this to help people, and, you know, I'm a lender that is totally behind that core value.
Right, absolutely. Well, Dave, thanks so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Dental students who are listening, don't forget about Proceed Finance and all of the wonderful things that they can do to help you in your future practices. Dave, thanks again for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, and good luck to all your students, and I want you guys to be successful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right,
take care.
Thank you.